is like a warrant type thing that needs to be addressed.
Okay.
I assume you have something as well.
I do.
You know what? Let's hear yours.
So I wake up this morning, I check Twitter, and I see an argument between, I'm guessing, you're Mr. Doe, correct?
Yep.
And
That's Lieutenant
a
Doe, sir, for the record.
a
Not Mister. We go by titles here. That's Lieutenant Doe.
and a one Brooklyn Thrackin arguing
Okay.
about an
There
incident
was
on Twitter.
absolutely no argument on Twitter, but go ahead.
Then I get a tweet from a public defender wanting to meet with me at PD. He has received a complaint on how
Okay.
you had treated the situation that had happened between you and Miss Thrackin.
Are you guys aware of the PD complaint and how to find that Smith one?
Well, she went through her attorney.
That's not how that works, but okay.
Correct. That's not. Okay. Keep going.
So he asked me to come talk with you
Uh
and
huh.
get
And
your side of the story.
you already emailed my colonel,
Okay.
who told you to contact me, and you've yet to do that. But go ahead.
So, as far as I know, and I can get clarification from my boss and a judge if I have to go through the chain of command, not direct.
Not to speak to somebody about a case that you're just trying to gather information on, but go ahead.
Yes, I do.
I'm not going to argue this with you. You absolutely do not, but you do what you think you got to do, sir.
So, I'm here to get your side of the story at this point.
No, it sounds like you already came in here with a preconceived notion as to what occurred.
No, I did not.
Well, that's not how it's been received by me, but okay. So the bottom line is this, okay? I responded to a call for her, requesting to file a report of a crime. When I asked her what crime that was, there was no further response given. When I arrived on scene, I spoke with her, another female in all black, and a male that was with her. The female in all black kept running her mouth and interjecting herself into the conversation. Miss Thrackin proceeded to tell me that a subject came in for a interview. The subject at some point punched her and told her that she needed to die, at which point she pulled out a firearm while he was running from the business and was shooting at him, which is absolutely not self-defense in the least. When I mentioned that to her, her and the other female that were there continually told me left and right that they were women and it was a guy punching them, so absolutely firing shots at him was self-defense, even though the law clearly states it's not, because once he starts fleeing and you still keep engaging him, you become an aggressor and are no longer anywhere near self-defense. When I asked her who the guy was, she identified him as a Ben Jones. When I asked her how she knew him, she said she didn't. So then told me that she wanted him trespassed, and I explained to her that I had to have him personally present in order to give him in order to trespass him. At which point she proceeded to tell me that she would contact her attorney, which obviously she did. I could really care less about that. And then all of a sudden they started on Facebook trying to slander and defame the San Andreas State Troopers. And all I did was tell them to not do that. And if they were going to do that, they needed to at least tell the whole truth, which she clearly was not.
Okay. Which that's kind of what I gathered off the Twitter for that.
But then that's definitely not arguing. He was just basically stating the facts, not to defame our department without releasing all the facts, which clearly
which
she wasn't.
I understand that.
Okay.
I was just I had to listen to a public defender over it, and I wanted to get his side of the story to see where we needed to proceed with this.
And by the way,
Well,
the report I believe is number 28. It's wrote up, and I'm half tempted to go just arrest her for
I've gave him
aggravated
guidance,
assault and discharging a firearm.
and I've gave him guidance to go do that. So
Okay,
I
that
mean,
is on you
technically,
guys. That the only time we get involved at that point is if she decides to plead not guilty and it goes to a courtroom.
So
which she would do.
literally what I did was I tried to explain to her for her own benefit not to do that in the future, and all she wanted to do along with her friends is argue with me. So I'm sorry, but when I've got store robbery, shots fired, and all that constantly going off at the same time that they're arguing with me when I damn well know the law, I'm not going to give you much time, and I'm going to go ahead and walk away from that.
Okay. So, just to clarify, you had informed her about not firing her firearm because of how the situation had ended. She proceeded to argue with you, including one of her friends, which,
Yep.
in my opinion, should not have been getting involved because it really did not involve her. She was a bystander at that point, not someone that was involved, but that's besides the point at this point. And you were getting dispatch calls for store robbery, shot fired, and you proceeded, since all she wanted to do at that point is argue with you, so you got yourself out of the situation and went back on duty to respond to those calls. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. So, I will say, I will get the DA involved because I'm pretty sure she's going to push it further, rather you go to arrest her or not. Did you have, I'm really hoping you have the answer I'm looking for, any form of body cam running?
Nope.
Okay.
And she has nothing to push because she was not detained. There was no sort of legal action taken by me towards her or anything else. So
So she cannot take this to court.
Well,
So if
she
she does, and a judge
she can-
actually
It could be
accepts
civil court. It could be civil court.
I was
She
going to
can sue the
say
department.
civil court.
I mean,
she
she
can.
can push whatever she wants,
Yeah,
but
I mean-
it's not going to end up well in her favor.
Which
if it does, that judge needs to get reassigned to like Mexico.
well, I understand that, but either way, it could possibly end that way, and rather it's a civil court, or otherwise it then brings in the DA because it is against the department.
So speaking of Ben Jones, I just had the wonderful occasion of running into him.
Okay.
I was sitting in the construction site across the road here. He slid through the intersection, almost into the construction site, backed up, took up up Calais, blowing through the red light at a high rate of speed, came back around, came by me at approximately 83 miles an hour, fishtailed through the entire intersection, and took off up Adam's Apple. I conducted a traffic stop on him. He gave me his ID, which I still have. I requested him to step out of the vehicle, which was two-pronged. One, his driving behavior was reckless operation, which was a arrestable offense. And two, I actually wanted to talk to him about this incident with Miss Strachan to try to get his side of it, to see about the shots being fired and so forth. He refused, even though I told him multiple times that it was a very lawful request for him to exit the vehicle and he had to abide by it. At which point I told him he was under arrest, and he took off, leading us on a high-speed chase through the entire city on every highway I believe that we have, besides Los Santos. And multiple times he rammed the colonel's car. He went to the edge of the pier off of the edge of Del Perro Pier, jumped into the water, ended up stealing a boat, and leading us on another long pursuit, to which point the colonel was trying to get a boat from the boat docks down by the pier area, intercoastal pier, and hit the colonel with his boat before taking back off in the water and eventually getting away.
Okay. So I'm
So-
guessing you're looking at a warrant for his arrest then?
Yes.
Okay.
Pushing, obstruction of justice. because he failed to comply with lawful orders to exit his vehicle, which there's multiple case laws that state I'm allowed to ask you to get out of your, or allowed to tell you to get out of your vehicle, and you have to comply to that.
Yep.
Reckless driving, felony evading, and aggravated assault for intentionally turning towards and striking the colonel with a vessel.
Okay. I'm not sure how we do it here. I know in the past, the way it has been done when I've been involved, rather DA or on your guys' side, is we have a higher command or the officer that is requesting the warrant write the warrant up, email it to me because they have the best knowledge of everything that had happened on and why the warrant. I will read through it, or the DA himself. If I feel that there is significant for that warrant, we will sign off of it, and then I believe it has to go to a judge, and then the judge has to read through it and then sign off of it himself.
Okay. Like I said, man, I'm not trying to come off hostile with you at all. I just don't really appreciate trying to explain the law to people and getting just getting told that I'm wrong, especially by the people not involved that are essentially bystanders.
Well, and I understand that. I will inform you. Before I became a ADA or even involved on this side of the law, I was in your boots at one point. So I totally do understand. We're going.
So you have access to the reports, right?
As far as I know, I do not. The only
If you think MDW does anything come up?
Nothing, because I tried it today when I was having a chit chat with the public defender to see if I could even see if there was a report done on it, so that I wouldn't even have to try and get a hold of you guys, and I wasn't getting anything up on that. As far as I know, the only person in our office that has access to it is the DA himself.
How do I get the magic number to get him entered so he can look at reports?
My magic number is 69, if that's what you're looking for.
They would have to do that, because if not, it'll hire him on as a trooper.
Yeah.
Oh.
So, and I think that's what the DA was looking into, because he wasn't absolutely sure himself on how to do that.
Okay, I just emailed you the narrative to that report.
Okay, let me give me a few minutes so I have a chance to look at it really quick, right?
Okay.
Okay, so I went over it, and it's pretty much as you had already told me. So I will make sure I have that email in my favorites folder so that if I need to refer back to it, I am able to.
Okay.
And I wasn't trying to come in here to be a dick or anything. I needed to hear your side of the story because I was only hearing one side of the story through a public defender, not even from that person itself. But I was not going to talk to that person until I heard from you because as being an ADA working for the DA, any government officials are my clients. I do not deal with the public on a day-to-day basis.
Oh, absolutely. No, and like I said, I wasn't trying to come off rude to you. It's just very interesting when you try to have that, and trying to have that conversation. You know what I mean?
Yes. So, at this point, like I said, the conversation both for the warrant and the incident that I need to talk to you about has been recorded. Both, if you need it for anything, and my records, so that I can go back look at it. If I have to write any reports, it's per word per se when I write a report if I need to, and then it's not misleading. If you know what I mean.
No, absolutely.
So at this point, what I will do is, because she did obviously contact her lawyer, I cannot go directly to her. I will reach out to him, see what he has in mind or what he feels is going to happen. I'll let him know that I had the conversation with you and possibly see if I can get a sit down with Miss Thrackin to see if I can get her side. So hopefully at the end of all this headaches or bullshit or whatever you want to call it, it's not being ended in a courtroom with a civil suit.
I mean, ultimately, it's her ballpark. Like I said, it's just not going to go well. If she wants to play the game, then I'll just press charges against her and we'll let it go play out that way, too.
Well, yeah, I understand that. And like your boss said, and he is correct, you technically can arrest her for what you believe is the unlawful discharge of a firearm. I was not there, so I cannot say if it was or was not.